If you're new to dieting and nutrition, it can feel alien and overwhelming. And I get that because most people aren't used to making conscious decisions about their foods. We pick up habits when we're young and we mostly just eat automatically. A lot of times people just eat the food that their mom made them when they were a kid. If you're one of the rare select few, you'll be lucky enough to just have a naturally lean physique. But that's not true for most of us. That's definitely not true for me. I had to learn how to make conscious decisions to improve my diet and improve my body composition. And the fitness industry, for the most part, doesn't help us either. There's so many different fad diets, so many different weird heuristics, and they all kind of contradict each other and they don't really make sense, and most of them don't even work. And there's all this terminology, right? There's micronutrients and macronutrients, meal frequency and timing. It's a lot to take in. So I want to cut through all that noise today. I want to give you something actionable and practical that you can do right now. Typically, when you talk to online fitness coaches, they'll recommend that you start by using a total daily energy expenditure calculator. This is an online tool, an online algorithm that will spit out what it believes your maintenance calories are, or the calories you need to maintain your current body weight. These tools can be useful, but they're generic. They're not going to be specific to you, and you are unique. Your habits are unique, your biology is unique, and your caloric needs may also be unique. A tool like this may be a good generic starting point, but it just doesn't teach you anything about you. So, when I work with new clients who are unfamiliar with dieting and nutrition, I have them do one simple thing. For the first 2 weeks we work together, I ask that they write down everything they eat. That's it. They don't have to write it down with a pen and paper. There are lots of tracking apps like MacroFactor, Chronometer, MyFitnessPal. It doesn't matter. The key is that they write down everything they eat in the quantities that they eat it. And the beauty of these apps is that it will track the macros for you. So it will record the proteins, fats, and carbs, and it'll record the calories, and it'll even list the micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals, so you get a good sense of that too. So when I have people do that, they typically learn 3 things. They realize they've been eating more than they thought. They learn that their proteins are pretty low and their carbohydrates and fats are high, and they learn that their micronutrients, their vitamins and minerals, typically suck. Now, these are problems, right? These are things we need to fix, but this data is amazing. This gives us a roadmap. This shows us what we need to address to improve your diet. And the next logical step I have people take is I ask that they start to sub out some of their existing food choices for whole food options. Now, I don't want to get into a discussion about what constitutes a good or a bad food, because that conversation is silly. There's no such thing as a good or bad food. Everything is context specific. So, for example, let's say you're a diabetic and you're about to go into hypoglycemic shock. Sugar is good for you. It is life-saving for you. Conversely, let's say you've got Crohn's disease and you have trouble digesting vegetables. Well, in that case, spinach is essentially poison to you and it's bad. So you can see again, there's no such thing as good or bad foods. However, I do like whole foods and I think they have some advantages over processed foods. So for one, whole foods tend to be more filling than processed foods. They often have more fiber and they take the body longer to break down than processed foods. So you can eat the same amount of calories in whole foods and typically just feel more satiated. Secondly, whole foods tend to have more micronutrients. So if you eat the same calories in whole foods versus processed foods, you might actually just feel better. And then lastly, there's a hidden advantage to whole foods, and that they're often cheaper than processed foods. When you buy processed foods, you're paying for that convenience, you're paying for the time it took someone else to make those foods, and so you'll actually save money in the long run. So again, I ask that people track their foods for 2 weeks, and then they begin to make substitutions and replace some of their processed foods with whole foods. I don't ask that they adjust their overall caloric intake. They can eat the same amount of calories. I don't even ask that they start to change their macros. They can have the same macros, but people still tend to feel better on a protocol like this. Some lucky people will actually just start to lose weight. It's usually water weight or a reduction in bodily inflammation, but that's still a good thing. But for the most part, people just tend to feel better. And that's amazing because you haven't actually done anything that's very hard, nothing particularly effortful, but yet you're able to be more energetic and more vital just by eating better foods. And that's a huge win. If you can implement these 2 simple steps, you'll learn a ton about your body and you too will start to feel better. In future videos, I'm going to talk about more advanced concepts and explore how we can use nutrition to maximize body composition and performance. But for now, you've got a great start.